Welcome to On the Ground with Galavante, where we are in Brunei for 24 hours and we are going to show you around. When you arrive in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, of course they pick you up in a Mercedes. First stop here in Brunei, outside of the Empire Hotel, are the night markets. And normally when I travel, it doesn't really smell that great in these markets, but this smells delicious. I want to try everything. So come on, I'm going to show you around. Hi. Have you been cooking all day?
Yeah, every day.
You cannot have a visit to Brunei unless you visit the largest mosque, which was built by the Sultan to celebrate his 25th anniversary as the Sultan. And this place is absolutely stunning. Brunei is a very, very wealthy country, and there is no question about that as we're walking through the mosque here. There are 29 minarets that were designed into the mosque that symbolize the 29 sultans of Brunei, and I can tell you it is good to be the Sultan. The Sultan himself is worth approximately over $40 billion, and so they really spared no expense at the largest mosque here in this beautiful country of Brunei. Our next stop is the traditional day market here, and unlike the night market, which is a lot of cooked foods, these are the raw, simple ingredients that the Bruneians use in their regional dishes. There's everything from dried fish over to fresh vegetables and these herbs that they use for medications, natural medications. What's so interesting about different countries around the world is this is a real market that the locals come to buy their fruits and their vegetables. And on any given day, this is what's going on here in Brunei. Going through these markets and having parents who are originally from the Philippines, it's really interesting to me to see that there are so many similarities amongst the Malaysian and Filipino and also the Brunei fruits, vegetables, and different delicacies from around the world. It doesn't surprise me at all though, because of the proximities of these countries all together. Everyone is within 2 hours of each other. And throughout history, there have been times where Brunei could have been part of Malaysia at one point until they had gained their independence. Talking about all this food and seeing all of these beautiful ingredients, I think it's time for us to grab lunch, and we are going to go to a traditional Brunei meal. Here we are at a very traditional Bruneian restaurant where there is not one tourist in sight except for the one you're looking at here, and we are going to check out all of this delicious food.
Score it, yeah. And then eat it. And then just have a go, yeah. Lovely, yeah.
Next stop here on the ground in Brunei is we are looking at the famed water villages, which have been around for over 1,000 years before Brunei even existed as its own independent country. And as you can see, water village means literally on the water, where the houses and everything are on stilts. Can't wait to see more. While you may think that the water villages have no infrastructure whatsoever, that's the complete opposite here in Brunei. They have cable, they have running water, they have schools, and you can actually walk the full 8 kilometers all around the water villages on the different stilts. To show you the authentic experience, we are actually here in the water village and we are going to tour a traditional home. And wow, I think these are our hosts. Hi! Hi! Christine, is this your home?
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And this is inside, the true inside track on a lake house in the village here, where this family was lovely enough to invite us in, so I'm going to show you around. As you can see, this is their living room, which is quite large, because when they have large family gatherings or when they have weddings, this is where all the action happens. hostess home was nice enough to allow me to walk through, and I'm going to show you around this beautiful little girl here. Hi! Hi! Hello! Your home is so lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. So they actually own a racing boat, and these are all of the trophies that they've won. So this family really is very good at the boating. And the place that I actually really love to be is in the kitchen, and the kitchen is right back here, so follow me through. And this is a typical big house kitchen. In the back and to the side are all the rooms, and as you can see, it is quite modern for what you would expect it to be, and there's even air conditioning. Graceful. Well, that was the excursion to the famed water villages here in Brunei, but we are not done yet. There's still more to see. In order to really understand Brunei, it's important to know that this is a sultanate. It's one of the only 2 sultanates here in the world, the other being Oman. And this is the Royal Regalia Museum, which is absolutely unmissable, and it's unmissable with somebody who really knows what they're talking about on the history of Brunei. Brunei has been ruled for 600 years by 29 sultanates, and this museum has the coronation of the current sultan when he was just 22 years old, and then it also has the chariots and also a number of gifts from when he had his silver jubilee and celebrated 25 years. Most recently though, the sultan has celebrated 50 years, so happy ruling, and we are going to see a little bit of the chariot. Most of this museum is actually off limits to filming, so we're just going to show you around a little bit here where we're allowed to film, and then also like a home or like a mosque, you take off your shoes, so just be careful, otherwise you're going to have sheep socks that everyone is going to see. But luckily I have socks to walk around the museum, so I'm going to show you around. What I found so astounding about this museum is that it had a replica of the coronation hall that's within the palace of the Sultan of Brunei, and it is absolutely astounding how ornate and how incredibly regal that coronation hall is. All I can say is that the Sultan really knows how to throw a party. What you see here behind me is the chariot that the Sultan used when he was coronated the first time when he was 22 years old. And this was actually carried by soldiers to the front and to the back. And then when he had his celebration of his silver jubilee at 25 years, it's an even more ornate chariot, but unfortunately I can't show you that, but you get the idea about how beautiful this really is. I wish I could show you more of the museum, but we're going to disappear for a little bit. Stick with us though, because the next stop is going to be the Royal Palace. You're probably wondering why we are at a gas station. Well, Brunei is extremely oil rich, which is why the Sultan is worth over $40 billion. And you can see that they are oil rich because the price of their gas by the liter is right about 25 cents or 20 cents US dollars. So it's practically nothing here to drive because the country is so oil rich. And I think that's the perfect time now for us to go see what oil money will buy us, because we're going to stop by the Sultans Palace. Alas, like Lord says, we'll never be royals. And we are here at the gates of the Sultans Palace in Brunei, and this is the largest residential palace in the entire world. There are over 1,700 rooms, and this is what oil money gets you. As I mentioned, Brunei became the country it is today when they found oil in 1929, and that was the year of the Great Depression in the US, and so while everyone else was in complete turmoil, Brunei struck it gold. And so because of that, the country is actually one of the wealthiest in the world. Per capita, it has a higher income than the US. While today we are not making it past the palace gates, I know that one day we are going to be back in Brunei and be able to see this incredible place behind us. We're back to where we started with our 24 hours here in Brunei, back at the Empire Hotel, which is owned by the Sultan. Of course it is, because the ceilings are in 24 karat gold. And this is where we started, and this is where we're ending. Thank you so much for joining us here in Brunei with Galavante on the ground. We'll see you at the next place.